Breezy and David and Jennifer and Laura and John and Ron and whoever wrote that song. I thought it was Bette Midler, but it wasn't. Thank you. Julie Gold. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that song. It doesn't mean that God is away from us at a distance. It means that the spiritual perception of life is not from where we often see it. That our true perception is that we are one, and that there's only one. And that all this idea of two-ness is all about separation, and that that's not the spiritual perception or perspective. Is that me, Kristen? Good, then turn it off, whatever it is. So that's the perspective for us to go for, is that we are all one. All one, all one. And that brings me into my talk today of what will I give? It was a fascinating week. First of all, just to get it all out in the open, a couple of weeks ago, I did a talk on lighten up. Is that not deep, Kristen? It's my breath. Well, this has had a little bending issue today, so I'll pull it a little bit away from me, and you turn me up a little bit, okay? So, a couple of weeks ago, I gave a talk on lighten up, remember? It was a fantastic talk. Tuesday, I threw my back out, and I was flat on my back for a couple of days, contemplating all of the different ways that I could, in fact, lighten up and not have the world stop spinning. So it was a very good process for me to realize that I don't always have to be in charge to make everything okay. So I am working on my lightening up, and I encourage you all to do that without the pain of throwing your back out. But during this week, I had a conversation with somebody that I was really surprised at, when once again the viewpoint of what am I going to get out of this came up. And anytime we've been on the spiritual path for any length of time, we learn right away that it's not about what we're going to get. That as long as we're focused on I don't have enough and I want to get something, we're creating I don't have enough. And even though we may finagle things to where it looks like I'm getting something, we're not getting anything other than a reflection of our consciousness that is about not having enough. The true question is, what will I give into this experience? What will I bring? You know, the rock and roll song, you don't always get what you want, but you get what you need. No, you don't. You don't get what you want, you don't get what you need, you get what you bring. That's the only thing that we're going to get out of life, is what we bring into our experience. So my question is, what will I give? Will I give so much that the universe can't help but take that, multiply it, and give it back to me, to where, yippee yay coyote, I've got so much that I don't ever worry about what's in this for me. I have so much that I can give and give and give and have it show up in my life as overflowing abundance. Life is not a used car dealership. Life is a reflection. Life is vibration and reflection. That's all that it is. It is simply the vibration that we bring to it. We want to raise our vibration as high as possible into a concept that we have so much that we can afford to be generous. We can afford to give. If I've got it and it's for the good of me, you, everybody, I want to give it. Otherwise, what am I here for? Am I just going to go through life going, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. What in the world do I have? I want to go through life saying, what can I give? Give it to you, give it to you, give it to you, give it to you. Look at all that I have. And then I will get that back in my experience. It's like the wonderful words of John F. Kennedy when he said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. Whether it's a business deal, whether it's a lunch with a friend, don't ask what you're going to get out of it. Ask what you can give to it. And whatever you give to it will be the consciousness that you then get from it. Whatever you're getting in life, you put it out there. It's not arbitrary, it's not random. Everything that comes to you in life, you first put into that experience. I remember when John was talking about the two organizations coming together, and one of them wasn't in very good shape. Actually, neither of them were in very good shape. And somebody asked him, if you were a part of this organization, what would you do? He said, I would work really hard to make sure that they're healthy, they're strong, and they're doing what they came here to do. That's the attitude. If something has a lack and you have something to give to it, then that's your job to give to it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in that situation. It's not an accident that you're there. You've got a piece of it. And so if you've got a piece of it, it's yours to give. Not yours to hoard your piece and then try to get something else, because that trying to get something else and that hoarding will simply put you in a position where you lose even that which you have. It's the parable of the talents. One servant got 5 talents, one servant got 2 talents, one servant got 1 talent. The one with 5 talents went out and made it grow, gave it away, worked it in the community. The one with 5 did the same thing, and the one with 1 took it and said, oh, my master is a really bad guy. I'm going to bury it so I don't get in trouble. I'm going to hoard it. I'm going to cling to it. And so when Jesus came back, what happened? The 10 talents, you get to keep yours. You did a good job. 5 talents, you get to keep yours. You did a good job. 1 talent, oh no. Even that which you have shall be taken away. And he had a lot of curse words in that day that went with that. Because when we hold on to something, whether it's support, whether it's an idea, whether it's an opportunity, then we lose it all. Because the very consciousness of holding on comes from, I don't have enough. And so that idea of not having enough then is what manifests. There is a point where we must realize that we have it all, that we're all connected to everything. How could there be any lack? The only lack I can experience in my life is that which I have created by having a belief in lack of any kind. Well, I can't trust you. I trusted someone 50 years ago and they broke my heart. So I won't trust you. Well, in not trusting, what we create are people that are not trustable. But we picked them out of 7.5 billion of us. We had to comb the continents to find somebody that we couldn't trust. And then, oh, Barbara, it's love. There's this chemistry. It's wonderful. And I'm going, oh my gosh, what are you doing now? You're picking somebody that will outpicture your neurotic beliefs in how life works. And then we go, I knew I couldn't trust anybody. No, you bring your own trust. It's like the story of the traveler who's going up to the new town to live, and someone comes out of that town and they cross on the road, and the traveler says, hey, what kind of a town is it? And the person from that town says, well, what kind of a town did you leave? And the traveler said, oh, I left a town where people were robbing other people and it was scarcity and everybody was so mean and it's awful. And the person from that town said, well, that's the way they are here too. And then he walked a little farther and another traveler came along and said, what are the people in the town like? And the person from the town said, well, what kind of a town did you come from? He says, I came from people who were loving and supportive and worked together and we had great prosperity. And the person from the town said, that's what you're going to find in the town you're going to. Because we bring it with us and then we get it. The question is always, what do I bring? What can I give? How can I support this situation? What can I do to make it better? What key do I have to having this work out? There are no accidents. There are no coincidences. You are always where you are by right of consciousness. You may have the key. You may have the key. And when you give that key, then everything opens up. And so you have more. The people around you have more. And all of a sudden, the world is looking beautiful because you have that key. I'm working with someone on the website. Hi, those of you out on the website that email me. I do, in fact, email you back. And I'm working with someone on the website who emailed me either last night or this morning asking for treatment work, that she is working in a hospital that demands people get a flu vaccine. And she said, no, I'm not going to get a flu vaccine. And they said, fine, you have to wear a mask. You just have to wear a mask. So she has been wearing a mask for months and now is tired of wearing the mask and wants me to treat that they changed the policy and she doesn't have to wear a mask and that they never institute this policy again. I can't do that because what she is bringing to the mask is conflict. And if every time I put on a mask, I feel like I've been dissed in some way, that I've been put in some kind of a mask prison, that my freedom has been taken away from me, that I'm fighting the mask, then that's what I get. I know lots of people who are in operation rooms, surgical rooms, who wear masks. People who do experiments in highly clean environments all wear a mask. They're not at odds with the mask. They're not fighting with the mask. It's not the mask. It's inside of us. And so if when I put a mask on, and this is a symbol, if when I put a marriage on, if when I put a job on, if when I go to buy a house or a car or whatever, do my spiritual practice, if when I put the mask on, I'm feeling at odds with it, I am going to create that in my experience. I'm going to get that back. If I damn the mask, every time I put it on, I'm going to have a damned experience. That's the way it works. So what do I give? Thank you, mask. Because you're my out to not take a flu vaccine because that person doesn't want to take a flu vaccine. God is in the flu vaccine. Thank you, mask. Because you're the solution to my problem. You're the answer to my question of, do I really have to do this? No, you don't have to do that. Just do this. Okay, well, I'm a big girl. I can make this choice and have this consequence and be okay with it because I made the choice. I can love this person. I can be a part of a team. I can give to my life. And in that giving, I will get back more and more. That's who I am. There comes a point when we really have to allow ourselves to turn into John. True story. The fact that it has my husband's name is just wonderful. John was the kind of guy that can annoy the hell out of you. He's always in a good mood and always has something positive to say. When someone would ask him how he was doing, he would reply, if I were any better, I'd be twins. He was a natural motivator. Whenever a coworker was having a bad day, John would tell that person to look on the positive side of the situation. Seeing this style really made me curious, so one day I went up and asked him. I said, I don't get it. You can't be a positive person all of the time. How do you do it? He replied, each morning I wake up and say to myself, you have two choices today. I can choose to see the best in life, or I can choose to see the worst. I choose to see the best and be in a good mood. Each time something happens that I don't like, I can choose to be a victim, or I can choose to learn from it. I choose to learn from it. Every time someone comes to me complaining, I can choose to accept their complaining, or I can point out why they're really okay. I choose the positive side of life. Yeah, right. It's not that easy, I protested. Yes, it is, he said. Life is all about choices. When you cut away all the junk, every situation is a choice. You choose how you react to situations. You choose how people affect your mood. You choose to be in a great mood or a lousy mood. The bottom line, it's your choice how you live your life. I reflected on what he said, but soon after I left the tower industry to start my own business. We lost touch, but I often thought about him when I made a choice about life instead of reacting to it. Several years later, I heard that he was involved in a serious accident, falling some 60 feet off a communications tower. After 18 hours of surgery and weeks of intensive care, he was released from the hospital with rods placed in his back. I saw him about 6 months after the accident. When I asked how he was, he said, if I were any better, I'd be twins. Want to see my scars? I declined, but I did ask him what had gone through his mind as the accident took place. The first thing that went through my mind was the well-being of my soon-to-be-born daughter, he replied. Then, as I lay on the ground, I remembered that I had two choices. I could choose to live, or I could choose to die. I chose to live. Weren't you scared? Did you lose consciousness, I asked. He continued, the paramedics were great. They kept telling me I was going to be fine, but then when they wheeled me into the ER, I saw the expressions on the face of the doctors and nurses. I got really scared. In their eyes, I read, he's a dead man. I knew I needed to take action. What did you do? I asked. Well, there was a big burly nurse shouting questions at me. She asked if I was allergic to anything. Yes, I replied. The doctors stopped, the nurses stopped, and waited for my reply. I took a deep breath and yelled, gravity! Over their laughter, I told them, I am choosing to live, work on my body as if I am alive, not dead. Yay. Yeah. He lived thanks to the skill of his doctors, but also because of his amazing attitude. I learned from him that every day we have the choice to live fully. What do you give? You go into an emergency room, looking at dying, everybody looks at you as if you're already dead. What part are you going to bring to it? It's your life. Every time you wake up in the morning, what part are you going to bring to it? What do you give? What do you have to give? I submit that you have more to give than you realize, and that every circumstance in life, every situation that you find yourself in, you have something to give to it. Life is not about wheeling and dealing. It's about outgiving everybody and everything and watching the universe pour it back on you. That's the only thing that can happen. When we look at ourselves as the key, when we look at ourselves as the solution, when we look at ourselves as the answer, then we have that to give. I know so many people who go into a situation and they go, oh, there's a problem. They bring the problem. Oh, this is the problem, that is the problem, this is the problem. 99 things are going great except for one. And what do they bring? They bring the one. This is the problem. Well, if that's all you've got in life, what are you going to get? Problems. There is a solution. We may not know it, but there is a solution. So when we say, well, I don't even know what the solution is, but I know there's got to be a solution because there's always a solution. There's always an answer. There's always a way to handle it. It's here somewhere. And when we bring that, we open up the doors of consciousness to show up, and out come the answers and the solutions. That is our job, to bring what is needed to every moment of our lives, to give freely whatever is ours to give, so that the cycle of life can continue to expand and grow. If we go through life looking at what we're going to get, all we're going to create is lack and limitation. Because it comes from an idea that says, I don't have enough, and so I've got to get that and grab hold onto it, and I'll push and claw my way through if I have to. When we go through life saying, what can I give? What will I give? What is mine to give? Then what we do is we lift everyone around us, set spiritual law in motion, and life gives back to us always multiplied abundantly. It is our moment-to-moment question. Right here and right now, why am I here? Because I have something to give. So will I give it? And so it is.
Barb actually chose to give this talk this morning after 4 days pretty much on her back. She's amazing. Will you please acknowledge her again? Now, who do we have in the room for the first time? Not been here before with us this morning. We've got Mike from Reno. That's right. I want to make sure I said it right. Thank you for being with us this morning. We've got some folks back here. Hi, welcome. We're glad that you're here this morning. Anybody else here for the first time? Yes. Welcome. Remind me your name. Suzanne, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Yes, people are pointing at Suzanne. That's lovely. So this card that you've got, if you fill that out for us, we'll just let you know about some of the good things that are happening here. Even if you live far away, we're delighted that you're with us today, and we want to stay in touch. Wonderful. Thank you. Excellent. So everybody being acknowledged that way, let's have our prosperity acceptors come forward. I'll grab these checks that came to us in the mail this week. Think out what you're going to give. And if you do like me, you're going to put it close to your heart. And recognizing the presence of the one right here, right now. We are grateful for this amazing ability to give, for this wonderful way that life is so dynamically flowing, and that the energies of life continue to touch our hearts and our lives in wonderful ways as we continue that flow out. So flow out, flow in, it's this wonderful thing that happens. And it's happening right now. So I bless whatever is here, in hands and hearts, in the love and the vision for this community. And all being well, we'll say these words of investment affirmation together aloud. I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. And so it is. This center. And I believe I speak for those 10,000 people who come to our website to say thank you for creating this place, for creating this point of connection, for creating this sharing of truth around the world. It is a good thing we do, and we are all blessed for it. And I let that be so to the depths of my being, the heights of my consciousness, right here, right now, and forevermore. And so it is.